Hey guys, can you believe it? This is week 7. This is our last week for Google Slideshow. Can't believe the time has gone by so fast. So here we are. The last couple skills that I need to teach you for math are going to be reading a bar graph and reading a line graph. So these things should be reviewed from second grade, so it should be somewhat familiar to you and you should be able to figure this out, but I'm still going to take the time to teach both of those skills to you, and then you'll be all set. You will be complete third graders. You will have been taught all of the third grade curriculum and you will be ready for fourth grade. Ready or not, here you come. Okay, so starting with our bar graph. So I decided to pick one, again, from Super Teacher to use as an example to give you the kind of example questions that you could be asked on a bar graph. And I really liked this one because it talks about hens laying eggs and how many eggs did they lay on which day. My husband's parents, so Bailey's grandma and grandpa, raise their own chickens, and they have hens that lay eggs, and that's where we get our eggs from. So I thought, how fitting is this? This works out perfect. So we're going to talk about how the hens lay their eggs and how many they lay. So again, this is not on your Google Slideshow, but this is where my questions are coming from and where this bar graph came from to use as the example today to teach you how to read bar graphs. And remember, on our Google slide for Brain Pop, there will be a bar graph video there for you. Make sure you do the quizzes that go with that, because that's just really good extra practice and another person teaching you. So if you didn't get it from me, you might get it from them. But just remember, because this is a video, you can watch it as many times as you want until it makes sense to you. All right, so we're going to go over reading bar graphs. And so we're talking about hens laying eggs. And at the bottom, we have the different days of the week. And I just used the abbreviations. I used MON for Monday, TUES for Tuesday, WED for Wednesday, THURS for Thursday. So those are the days that they kept track of when the hens laid eggs and how many eggs did they lay? So eggs laid on those days. So here's some sample questions of what you could be asked on a bar graph. How many eggs were laid on Monday? Well, you would read the bar. Monday is here. You'd go to the top and you'd go across to the number on the left, and it would be 5. 5 eggs were laid on Monday. Okay? How many eggs were laid on Tuesday? So you'd go to Tuesday, you'd go up, and I kind of drew in the lines to kind of show you, so that way it would make it easier for you to see, because I know it's kind of hard when there's no lines across the bar graph. So Tuesday, they laid 7 eggs. All right? How many eggs did they lay on Wednesday? Well, on Wednesday, they laid only 3. They must have had some on vacation that day. And then Thursday, how many eggs did they lay on Thursday? Well, Thursday, they had 6. So those are some of the basic questions you could be asked on a bar graph. For example, on this one, how many eggs did the hens lay on a particular day? Another question they could ask you would be, which day did the hens lay the most eggs? Well, the day that has the tallest bar, the greatest number, is the day that they laid the most eggs. So looking at our bar graph, which day would that be? Well, it would be Tuesday. Tuesday has the tallest bar and the highest number of 7. So Tuesday would be the day that they laid the most eggs. Another question they could ask you, which day did they lay the fewest number of eggs? Well, fewest number would also have the shortest bar. So which day has the shortest bar? Well, Wednesday does. Remember Wednesday, I said a couple of them must have been on vacation? So Wednesday, they only laid 3. So that was the fewest number of eggs laid on a particular day, was Wednesday. Then they could ask you questions like this. Well, did the hens lay more eggs on Thursday or on Monday? Well, you could look at the bars. Monday there was 5. Thursday was 6. Which one means more? More means greater. Which day had a greater amount? Well, that was Thursday. So Thursday, they laid more eggs than they did on Monday. Then they could ask you, how many more eggs did they lay on Tuesday than on Wednesday? How many more? Remember that? Yes, that's subtraction. Very nicely done. So, how how many more means to subtract. So we would have 7, take away, Wednesday they had 3. So 7 take away 3 equals 4. That's right. So 4 more eggs were laid on Tuesday than on Wednesday. Now remember, they could ask you how many eggs were laid all together. So remember, if we want to do all together, what was that we have to do when we have all together in a word problem? We have to add. You got it. So we would have to add them all up. So we would add 5 plus Tuesdays was 7 plus Wednesdays was 3 plus Thursdays was 6. So we would have to add those all together. So let's start adding them up together. So 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 3, 13, 14, 15. So we are at 15. 15 plus 6. 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's right. So 21 eggs were laid between those 4 days. That's our total. How many eggs were laid for those 4 days? So those are the kinds of questions that you could see on a bar graph. And I know, like I said, bar graphs are a little bit more simplistic. Again, you should have done them in 2nd grade, so they should be review. So hopefully my quick little tutorial will be right what you need to do so you can do the 2 bar graphs that you're going to do for this week's slideshow. I'll show you what they are. Pets. Who doesn't like pets? Boy, I sure do. So that's one of the ones you're going to see on the Google slideshow. And then to kind of cater to the boys a little bit, baseball. So a baseball bar graph. So those are the 2 that you'll see on the Google slideshow this week. So you'll have fun with those. And again, you don't have to print them off. You can just write the answers on a piece of paper. You can recreate the bar graph if you want to, just like I did here on my board. You can just do it on a piece of paper if you want to see it and be able to write on it, and that's just fine. Because as you notice, I wrote on things, so that makes it easier for us to be able to see the answers. Okay, so now I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to get all set up for our line graphs, our very, very last skill that I need to teach. So I'm going to get that set up for you, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. The very last skill that I'm going to teach you for math this year in 3rd grade. So, line graphs. I have created a line graph, again, from an example from Super Teacher. This one talks about collecting stamps. This is not on your Google slideshow. This is just the one I'm using for my example. And then I will show you the other 2 at the end, the ones that you will see on the Google slideshow this week. So as again, I said it earlier, but remember there will be a line graph Brain Pop Junior video. So please go check that out on the Brain Pop video slide and do the quizzes that go with that because it's just really good practice for you. All right, so now we're going to talk about line graphs. This is what a line graph looks like. And the reason why it's called a line graph because it has a line that goes through it. And the line could go up and down. This one in particular just goes up. But it could go up and down, or it could start up high and go down. There's lots of different ways the line graph could look, but this is the one that I'm using for the example today. So, and I have talked to you a little bit about the x-axis. The x-axis is the axis across the bottom. You'll learn more about x and y axes as you go into 4th and 5th grade, but this is kind of like your first little introduction to it. Anytime you have something that goes across the bottom, that's the x-axis, as you can see it down there. So across the bottom and across that x-axis, we are talking about a year, the years. Years 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So that is what goes across the x-axis on this particular line graph. Now on the left, we haven't talked about this yet, but on the left, up and down, when something crosses, this is x, this is y. Y goes up and down. X goes side to side, y goes up and down. So on the y-axis, you see 5, 10, 15, 20, counting by fives, all the way up to 40. And those are the numbers of stamps that were collected. So the numbers of stamps somebody collected. That is called the y-axis. So some of the activities you'll see will have that on there. Actually, both activities that you're going to do, that you're going to see on your Google slideshow today, or this week, is going to have X and Y on there. So you'll be able to see that for review, and then you'll hopefully have a better understanding where X is and where Y is. So X is the year, Y is the number of stamps collected. So again, I'm using this particular line graph to walk you through the steps and the different kinds of questions you may experience. So the first question is, how many stamps, this particular person's name is Mary, so how many stamps did Mary have in her collection in the year 2010? So in 2010, it's the first year on our x-axis. We go up to where the dot is at, and that is 5. So in the year 2010, Mary must have just been getting started with her stamp collection. She only had 5 stamps in her collection. So that's how you would read that. Let's go on to the next one. So in 2014, clear over on the right, how many stamps did Mary have in her collection on that particular time? So here she has gone 4 years, and look how many more stamps she has. So let's go over here to 2014, clear over here, and we're counting by 5s. Go up to the dot. The dot is at 40. So she has now, in 2014, she has 40 stamps in her stamp collection. All right, another question. In what year did Mary have only 10 stamps in her collection? So now you have to look at the different years, or maybe you're going to look at the x-axis, and you're going to see where the 10 is at. So we're going to count up 5, 10. That's what I would do. I would go to the 10 because that's the number we're looking for. And then I would just travel along that bar or that line until we got to the dot. Well, this is where the dot is. It's at 2011. So in the year 2011, she had 10 stamps in her collection. So that's how you can read it the opposite way. All right, let's see the next question. All right, how many more stamps did Mary have in 2013 than she did in 2011? How many more? We've done this quite a few times and on the last couple of weeks. How many more means to subtract. You got it. So we have to figure out how many more stamps Mary had in her collection in 2013 than she did in 2011. Well, here's 2013. Let's go up to the dot. Here's the dot. We're going to slide across that line. She had 25. So over here, we're going to show our work. 25 is what she had in 2013. And that's more than she had in 2011, so we know that number is bigger. So over here in 2011, she had 10. So 25, add or subtract, how many more means to subtract, so we're going to subtract 25, take away 10. 5 take away 0 is 5. 2 take away 1, number neighbors, is 1. So Mary had 15 more stamps in her collection in 2013 than she did in 2011. So that's how we could solve an addition or subtraction question. Let's see what the next one would be. Now they're going to ask you to kind of predict in this particular kind of graph. So what's kind of been happening, we can kind of infer, think about that. That's a science term that we've talked about. I want you to infer, okay, what has been happening in Mary's collection. Has she been getting more stamps? Has she been losing stamps or selling stamps or giving stamps away? So has her stamp collection been getting bigger or has it been getting smaller? Well, let's look at the bar. The bar, or the line, excuse me, not the bar, the line. The line is steadily going up or down. Why? It's going up. That's right. So as it goes up, the number gets higher. So then that tells us that Mary is collecting more and more stamps to add to her collection each year. Here's where you have to predict. The next question is going to be, looking at the way the line graph is moving or growing, or as it's traveling, what do you think would happen to her collection in 2015? So if we had extended the line graph one more year, and we had 2015, on the x-axis, so we added one more year, where do you think this line would fall on 2015? Do you think it's going to continue to go up? Well, it has steadily gone up, hasn't it? So that's probably a pretty good prediction that it's going to go up. Or do you think it's going to go down? Has it gone down at all during the time that it's traveled? No, it hasn't. It has continuously gone upward. So our best prediction would say that it's going to continue to go up. She's going to continue to collect more stamps for her stamp collection. And that would be true and accurate because it has steadily risen over the course of those 1, 2, 3, 4 years. It's going to be a good prediction that it's going to be even higher in 2015. So those are the kinds of things that you would be asked to do in a line graph. And they're not terribly hard. Like I said before, bar graphs and line graphs and pictographs are the ones that you probably have seen before in second grade. Maybe you've seen them on IXL. This would be a great time to do them in IXL if you haven't done so already. I think I have highlighted them because I knew we would get to them through this 7 weeks that we've been off and away from school. So I'm pretty sure I highlighted them. So go check them out. Check out the bar graphs. Check out the line graphs. Check out the pictographs. And especially check out the line plots. Because remember, those are the ones you're going to see on the M step. So I have really enjoyed teaching you this year. It has been a great year. Other than this last little hiccup we've had at the end, we've really accomplished a lot this year. You guys are really smart students, and I was so lucky and so fortunate to have you this year. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that. I'm hoping that we will get together again before fall, but we'll just have to see what this holds, and we'll go from there. But I just wanted you guys to know that you guys are special students, and I am truly grateful for having been your teacher this year. So I will see you on Wednesday on our Zoom call, and I will talk to you then.